Yo, welcome back to part 3 of the High Times podcast here today. Part 3, here it is. We're going to go away with some little week 2 takeaways, and at the end of a segment, we're going to go to week 3 predictions and our final record for the week 2 roundup. So week 2 takeaways. It was a good week 2. There's really no many upsets. There's really nothing crazy happened in week 2. But I have a couple topics here I'm going to throw at you, and let me see what you got about your week 2 takeaways, Alex. So first thing I'm going to bring to you right here, Alex. Patrick Mahomes might be the real deal. What you got to say about that?
So after the first 2 weeks, I feel after seeing this guy play, like, dude, this guy is able to move around the ball. So he's obviously that new style of quarterback who's able to create that space for himself. He's that dual threat. He's going to be able to run and he's going to pass. He has 10 passing touchdowns already so far this year in 2 games. So as a rookie, most in the NFL. So he's kind of taking on a similar role like Watson did last year before he got injured. So I feel that moving forward, this guy's going to be able to produce in that style of offense. So he's able to get an efficiency out of his pass attempts. They're not passing as much as you would like them to, but he's completing those passes.
Yeah, like Alex said, Patrick Mahomes is catching his stride. Another favorable matchup this weekend for him. And another question for you, Alex. Do you see Patrick Mahomes continuing to tear up the league like he's doing so far?
I see he has a few tough matchups ahead of him, but he has a lot of good matchups as well, too. So I think that the way that the Chiefs run their offense, they're going to be able to not necessarily put it all on Mahomes. They're going to hand the ball off. They're going to create those easy screen passes for him to the wide receivers and everything like that. So he has playmakers around him which are going to help him get those big yardage plays. So I feel that he's going to continue to do well. And we haven't even seen him do so much with his legs. So Look for him to start rushing way more once the defense starts adjusting to his passing. Because right now they're more stacking the box or playing tighter defenses because of Hunt.
Yeah,
but they're gonna end up opening it up a little bit.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes, definitely look out for him to explode in the next coming weeks. Another week 2 takeaway that I have here, Alex. Is it possible to say Ryan Fitzpatrick might have taken the job away from Jameis Winston?
Yes, definitely. I mean, you can't deny the fact that he has been an amazing player and fantasy producer in the past 2 weeks. So last week I was thinking he was going to take a dump, and I said pump the brakes on him. He proved me wrong. He had another solid outing. So I can't deny the fact that, you know what, he's able to hit his receivers when he needs to. They actually have a pretty high completion rating as well too compared to the rest of the NFL. So I think that he is doing very well. The way that Winston has been, he hasn't been solid when he has been playing. He's obviously had this trouble, off the field. So I think his job is definitely at risk. If he continues doing what he's doing, I mean, why would you start Winston over Fitzpatrick? He's putting up numbers.
You got it. Winston's not going to be eating no more L's no more. He's going to be eating some L's now. Right on. Next thing I took away from week 2, Alex, what is wrong with those Pittsburgh Steelers?
Well, I don't know. You tell me. You're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan as well too at heart. I know that's what you grew up with. So what do you think about the Steelers? What are you seeing?
Alex. Those Pittsburgh Steelers defense is just not cutting it. If you look back to previous years and previous Super Bowl runs that the Pittsburgh Steelers have had, their nickname is the Steel Curtain. The Pittsburgh Steelers are the Steel Curtain, but this year they're not proving that. The Pittsburgh Steelers are getting
like the Velvet Curtain this year.
Yeah, there's something wrong with Pittsburgh. They're not here. They don't have that linebacking core. They don't have that mean machine integrity attitude that they have in previous years. They're getting passed all over in their secondary by the Chiefs. Week 1 against the Browns, they struggled against the Browns. Not saying the Browns are bad this year. They're obviously a lot better, but at the same time, the Pittsburgh Steelers had high hopes coming into this year as they do every year, Alex. The Pittsburgh Steelers are the only threat to the Patriots the past couple years. Their reign is they're slowly falling down that tier and they're slowly falling down that map. For the offensive point, the whole Le'Veon Bell situation, they got to put it behind them, Alex. Le'Veon Bell is going to do what Le'Veon Bell is going to want to do, and they can't focus on Le'Veon Bell. They got to keep on moving forward. Big Ben had a nice week last week, but at the end of the day, they lost.
And James Conner is
exactly.
doing
James
great.
Conner's doing his thing, but at the end of the day, if you're not taking up W's, if you're not winning the ball, you cancel all what they're doing. As a team, as a whole, fantasy-wise, that's good. James Conner's doing his thing, Big Ben's doing his thing, but we're talking about as a whole. Pittsburgh Steelers not getting the job done, and if I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, I'm starting to get a little bit worried. This week they go to Tampa Bay, face a hot Ryan Fitzpatrick. Hopefully they come out with a win there. I'll get a little bit more into that prediction later on, but I feel like as in general, the Pittsburgh Steelers should be worried a little bit.
Yeah, so, and I'm also hearing a lot of different arguments and different takes on, all right, let's say Le'Veon Bell comes back. What are the Pittsburgh Steelers going to do? Are they going to run the ball like crazy and just wear out Le'Veon Bell? Or do you think that they're going to go with a split by committee and give James Conner the opportunity to carry that rock since he's been doing so well?
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, you can't stop a power horse like James Conner. Why would you stop the momentum? Why kill his confidence going to previous week just because Le'Veon Bell comes back? Le'Veon Bell, he's a great running back, probably top one of the best running backs in this league. But for him to not want to play with his team, for him showing what kind of player he is as an individual, yeah, I understand. It's all about the money, you know? You don't want to get hurt. You want to get that guaranteed money. But at the end of the day, you need to focus on your team. You can't be leaving your team out like that to dry. And James Conner's just capitalizing on that opportunity, and you can't take that away from him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I see it both ways, right? James Conner has produced, so why do the Steelers need to put in somebody who has been essentially hurting their team because he hasn't been there at all, right? But we also got to look at it from Le'Veon Bell's standpoint as well too. You produce all these types of numbers, right? You're the best producing running back
in the past couple years,
and yet you're not getting paid like one. We have Jerick McKinnon who's making more money, right? He's hurt and he hasn't played a single down, right? And he not like he proved anything when he was with the Vikings to be able to make that money, yet Le'Veon Bell has proven over and over and over again he is at the age where he still has a lot of years in him, maybe not more than 5, right? But he has another solid contract where a team needs to be investing in him. I feel that he's trying to get that out of it, and he knows the Steelers are going to run him to the ground. So, you know what? We see both ways. But essentially, you're still getting paid. You got to be there for your team. You want to win a championship, and you might not know if you're going to end up in a championship contending team next year. So, you know what? Le'Veon Bell, if he gets back to his team, I'm thinking they're going to go with this committee approach because
it's all about that locker room presence. Like I said, they know that team's definitely talking about his character, what kind of character he brings to the team. But I understand the money part, but you got to go back to your team and go play for your team.
Le'Veon Bell, I love his running style. He's my favorite running back. So he's going to end up somewhere well. So anywhere he ends up, he's going to be a great asset. But he just needs to get paid.
Well, definitely. Week 2 takeaway that I both took away. We talked about a little bit last week. We kind of knocked down this team a little bit, threw them to the dirt. Didn't really just respect them, and they proved it again this week. So Alex, is there a potential? Do you see the Buffalo Bills potentially going 0-16 this year?
Look, the Buffalo Bills look bad. Their offense is just not clicking. They got no line. McCoy is now hurt, which was the only bright spot on their team. So, you know what? 0-16, I don't see them as bad as, like, the Browns team. But I don't see them winning a whole lot of games either. The most games I could see them winning is maybe 1 or 2 games. No more than that. So they have an easier schedule compared to others. So that's why I see them winning maybe a game or 2, just because, look at their division, right? So, but yeah, they're not looking too.
Yeah, well, the next couple weeks they got the Vikings and the Packers, so that's back-to-back losses in our opinion.
Yeah, I feel like the next decent matchup they got is Tennessee week 5. You got the Colts week 7, right? You got the Jets week 10, the Dolphins week 13. So you have some decent some decent opportunities, but you know what? They just need to kind of find the gear and put it together. Yeah,
the whole quarterback situation with Josh Allen, he had a decent game. But like I said, the Bills just have to get something going, get LaShawn McCoy healthy, or just have someone really have a breakout year for them.
So what do you think about the Cleveland Browns? I know that they're looking They're looking not bad, but what are your thoughts on them? Are they here or are they?
Yeah, well, you know what? The Cleveland Browns, off camera, me and him talked about the Cleveland Brown New Orleans Saints game, and something in me wanted to choose the Cleveland Browns, and they didn't prove me wrong. They were in that game throughout the whole game. They lost because missed field goal attempt. It happens. But the Cleveland Browns look a lot better this year. I feel like the chemistry is going. All those big additions make a difference to the team. Tyrod Taylor, he's not looking great, but he's getting the job done. Jarvis Landry's in there, and he just brings that, not necessarily winning presence, because he's with the Dolphins, but just that winning attitude, Alex. It's all about that winning attitude and who you surround yourself with. And that's just in general, whether it be life or even in football. Surround yourself with winning vibes, winning energy, and people are going to want to win. People want to go out there and play their game, and the Cleveland Browns are going out there and actually being competitive this year. And this week, again, they face, let me find out the schedule real quick. Browns.
They face the Jets.
They face the Jets on Thursday night, so I can see it as a toss-up game. We get predictions what I think is going to win that game. But like I said, I feel like the Browns are not a playoff contention team, but I can see the Browns, possibly going 6-10 this year, Alex.
Yeah. So, I like Tyrod Taylor. I've always thought that he was underrated. He's able to protect the ball. So that to me, if you minimize the turnovers, you minimize the opportunity that the other team has to score. So for me, I like the Cleveland Browns. They're starting to find a rhythm. Landry is finding the rhythm there with the Browns, and he's starting pretty hot. He's actually having a hotter start than he did last year with the Dolphins. So he's having a good start there. They did lose Josh Gordon though, so that's definitely going to
set them back a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to definitely hurt them. They might now look into maybe acquiring a Des Bryant. Right, I know that they had talks about acquiring him before in the past, so they might call him back up and see if he's interested. So I like them. They have weapons. Carlos Hyde has been pretty good as well too, protecting that rock, and the rookie Chubb. The way that he's moving and the way that he's running, I really see him emerging later on during the year and really getting a nice solid backfield out of the Cleveland Browns. So they look to have a really solid offense. Defensively, their rookie as well too, who they drafted in the first round. He doesn't look too bad. He's playing some good defense, but he definitely needs to mature into his role a little bit more. And then the defense in all is not doing too bad. So I see them definitely winning a few games this year, maybe winning around 7 games hopefully.
Yeah. There's definitely a promising future in Cleveland. Most definitely, you definitely have to look out for them for the future, especially if they roll into Baker Mayfield next. We still got Baker Mayfield.
You still have him next, but I like Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, most definitely. The last little topic of Week 2 takeaway that I took away, that Sunday night football game. I had the Giants winning. Unfortunately, they lost, but the quarterback play of Eli Manning was not that impressive, Alex. So, Eli Manning's getting up there at age. He came in the league with people like Philip Rivers and Ben Roethlisberger, and those people are still eating in this league. But Eli Manning seems to be declining every year, Alex. So, is it possibly time that the Giants consider maybe looking at some new quarterback options?
Look, Eli Manning is still a quarterback who has more knowledge, who understands defenses better than most quarterbacks in this league. So when you have that kind of knowledge, that's what you need at a quarterback position. Yeah, he might not have the pizzazz as some of these youngsters who are able to move around a little bit easier. But if you look at that, the older quarterbacks in this league, they're not moving around and running around so much, right? So I feel that Eli Manning is a great quarterback. They need to definitely look into bringing somebody in to learn under him. But until he's retiring, you need to play him there in New York. He's already won you 2 Super Bowls. You finally got weapons around him, right? So give him the opportunity to grow into that. Right, so I don't feel that they need to panic and start somebody this year. They need to make sure that he finishes this year and they're confident in him. Yeah. So I feel Eli Manning is still a quarterback that can play football in this league.
Yeah, most definitely. Like I said, like you mentioned, Eli Manning won them 2 Super Bowls. It's kind of like a respect level at this point. Eli Manning is still capable of going out there week in and week out and throwing touchdowns. He just has a couple off throws. You know, the production of him and Odell Beckham Jr. in that Week 2 matchup wasn't. The chemistry wasn't there. You know, Odell Beckham only put up, I believe, 10 points. And for a number one receiver, you know, it's a little bit of points. You don't want 10 points coming out of your wide receiver number one. So the Giants definitely need to get a little bit clicking right there and maybe some different play calls. But
yeah, and then let's look at it this way. Let's look at some other quarterbacks in the league. Who would you rather have? Let's look at a rookie quarterback. Would you rather have Josh Allen or would you rather have Eli Manning holding down your team right now? As in this league right now, not moving forward, because right now the Giants are in a win now, right? If they weren't, then they would have gotten rid of Manning.
Yeah, of course.
Right now they're in a win now because they have the weapons there too. So this year, would you rather have Eli Manning or Josh Allen?
Yeah, Eli Manning, because Josh Allen really hasn't, you know, actually started the game. But then I would have posed the question back to you: would you rather have someone like Eli Manning or someone like a Mitchell Trubisky or someone like a Patrick Mahomes before the season started? Before you saw what Patrick Mahomes did this season, who would you rather have? If I told you this in preseason, would you rather have Eli Manning or Patrick Mahomes on your roster right now?
Well, if you're looking for me during preseason, I mean, my better pick was going to be Eli Manning, right? Because, like I said, I'm looking at a veteran presence.
Yeah, of course.
Right, so that is what it is in the NFL. It's a veteran presence. If you're looking at all these quarterbacks who are doing well, it's the veterans. And even the ones who are veterans that aren't performing too well, like a Joe Flacco, right?
Dalton, yeah.
He's still, Andy Dalton, they're still in the playoff picture year in and year out. So for me, I feel veteran experience trumps a lot because you've seen a lot, right? Patrick Mahomes, right? Teams haven't had the opportunity to plan so much against him, so give them time, and they're gonna limit him a little bit more, right? But he's still a relatively newer quarterback, so he hasn't seen certain defenses, certain schemes, and everything like that. So I like veteran presence. Now, looking at the electricity of Mahomes now, he looks like a quarterback that is going to do well in this league. I would rather have Mahomes.
Yeah, most definitely.
You know, so
it's definitely not a panic button for the Giants.
Yeah, it's not a panic one. I mean, look, they have a league with that's in reach. Yeah. The Cowboys aren't playing that great. The Eagles aren't playing that great. The Redskins aren't playing that great. Right?
It's an up for grabs division.
So you know what? They still have a chance there. So don't hit the panic on them yet.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, those are just a couple of any more Week 2 takeaways before we get into our predictions this week.
So another thing that I did want to discuss as well too. So how do you feel? Right, I'm a Packers fan. How do you feel that Aaron Jones coming back off a suspension this week is going to affect their backfield?
Well, you know what? A dynamic runner like Aaron Jones, I feel like he's going to definitely just hop into that starting role. You know, he proved himself last year. But at the same time, I feel like, me personally, I'm big on that switching in and out running backs. You know, just saving the energy. And Jamal Williams, you can't take anything away from Jamal Williams. You know, he had a decent week last week, but at the same time, you don't want to put a brakes on someone who's barely starting to get going. It's like a confidence crusher. It's good to throw Aaron Jones back in there, but at the same time, don't throw Jamal Williams, or even for that sake, Ty Montgomery out the door. You know, have your options open, have different looks for defenses. Makes it a little bit harder for them to plan for. You can't just plan for one running back if you're only putting one running back out there. It definitely helps the Packers running back core having all three of those out there. You have different types of running back with Ty Montgomery going after the pass, Aaron Jones more of a push the ball, and But at the same time, I feel like Aaron Jones is going to come back, and he's going to make a difference for that Packers running back core most definitely. And I feel like Aaron Jones is definitely someone to keep an eye on as well, just in general for leagues with waiver wires and people to start.
Yeah, definitely. So another takeaway for me as well too. I know that we had talked about Mitch Trubisky. So I'm looking at efficiency when it comes to players, right? So what we're looking at is people who are going to produce you targets. So takeaways from this week as well too is the targets that he produced for Allen Robinson, right? Allen Robinson had 10 receptions this week, which is huge considering he's still coming off of that injury and he had that question mark as well too. So his play has continued to excel and the chemistry has continued to grow there. Just as well how we talked with Landry. Landry is getting a lot of these receptions, a lot of these targets, and he's getting that connection with his quarterback. So that's another takeaway as well too, is when you're looking at something right now, you want to look at players who are getting the targets, right? So if you're looking to trade as well too, trade for targets, right?
Exactly.
Trade for targets because essentially that's what's going to get you the production.
Yeah, like I said, trade for people who are going to be on the field majority of the game. Like I said, Allen Robinson, he had just injury bug in Jacksonville. They just decided to cut ties with him, and he's getting the great chemistry with Mitchell Trubisky, especially with a young quarterback who doesn't really have connections already with his wide receivers. You know, a veteran quarterback like you said, Eli Manning, or someone like Drew Brees or Tom Brady, they have their security blanket. They know who they're going to throw the ball to. Drew Brees going to throw the ball to Michael Thomas. Brady's going to throw to Gronkowski, and Trubisky hasn't really found that receiver yet, and that's good for people who have Allen Robinson in their fantasy league, that he's drawing that impact. He's growing that connection with him, and so it's going to be his go-to target, and then which means receptions, means yards, which also means more points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So
good week 2 takeaways right there.
Week 2 takeaways there.
Yeah. Let's get into our predictions for week 3.
So we can definitely get into those predictions. Yeah.
Before we get into our predictions for week 3, let's just get a little recap of week 2. Week 2 predictions, you know, some things happened during the games that prevented, you know, certain teams from scoring, like injuries with Jay Ajayi. Kind of slowed down the Eagles' defense. Nick Foles, you know, not really playing to performance.
Yeah, so a lot of surprises this week as far as upsets. Some teams that are surprising us as well too.
Yeah.
So, Armando, how did you do last week?
Well, last week, you know, I had a losing record, but in between the battle between me and him, I was able to take the win just due to record differences. I was able to go 7-9-1. We're putting that 1 for the Packers-Vikings game. That was a draw. We gave ourselves that 1 extra point to make us look a little bit better. But I won 7-9-1. You know, I have the stats of what teams won for me. The teams that lost for me was that Ravens game. The Bengals ended up outplaying the Ravens that Thursday night game. That Falcons-Panthers game, you know, came down to the wire, but Matt Ryan he played better than Cam Newton, came out to superior. The Texans really let both of us down, I think we could both say. Deshaun Watson just didn't come out and play. That Steeler game, you know, we thought Heinz Field, maybe they're going to win. But a win that I chose that really emphasized me and really made me proud and really to talk about was that Jaguar game. You know, I was very high on the Jaguar game. I talked a lot about Tom Brady not being able to perform in Jacksonville, and we disagreed on that. And I'm just happy that, you know, the Jaguars had my back and we were able to go into that Sunday game and really come out superior against that Patriots game.
Yeah, and I had that Matt Ryan come back on the Carolina Panthers that you thought he was going to come in and bet as well too. So he came in and had a great game. Took the win as well too and put up points for his team.
What was your final record for the?
So for me last week, I did pretty poor.
So what was that final record?
So I went 5-11.
Oh my lord!
Right. So not too well. So like I said, there's a lot of teams that surprised. So it's all right. It's gonna bounce back here, and you're gonna see me win this week.
All right, let's see. Well, let's get into the week 3 predictions. We're gonna start off with the Thursday night game. That's gonna be between the New York Jets and the Cleveland Browns. Do you want me to go first, or you want to knock us out?
No, go first.
All right, so this Thursday night game, like we said, we're big on it. We're not big fans of Thursday night games, and the streak ends this Thursday. I'm gonna go ahead and choose the Cleveland Browns to win this game against the New York Jets. I wasn't really impressed with Sam Darnold's play week 2. I really had high hopes going into him week 2 against the Dolphins. He didn't really come out to play. And I keep on mentioning I'm really big on those Cleveland Browns this year. I feel like the chemistry is barely getting going. I'm expecting a big game at David Njoku, and I think the Cleveland Browns are going to take that win on Thursday.
Yep. I have the Cleveland Browns as well, too, taking that win. So I like the way that they've been playing, and I think that that's going to be the day that they're going to turn that win and get that done.
Yeah. I guess you could look at it as a game of the week here, the New Orleans Saints and the Atlanta Falcons. Alex, who do you got winning that game?
So for me, in this game, I like the way that the Falcons defense has been playing as of late compared to the Saints. They're starting to get things a little bit more in motion. It looks like Devontae Freeman is going to be out this game. I like the way that the Saints have been playing thus far, though. Their offense has been clicking way more, and they're getting those red zone touchdowns, and that's something that the Falcons haven't been able to do so much. So in this game, I'm going to take the Saints based upon that they're able to score in the red zone, where the Falcons have not been able to just yet. So given this matchup, I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go with the New Orleans Saints as well. I feel like, last week was kind of like a little flop against the Cleveland Browns. They only put up 20 points, but they weren't really clicking until the second half. But like I said, you can't count on a team like Drew Brees and Michael Thomas. That connection is really, really deadly. Even with Alvin Kamara coming out that backfield, their defense eventually, hopefully, they're going to pick it up a little bit. But even though they're on the road, and I'm a big believer in the Saints this year in general. And I feel like the Falcons, they have a good, but I just feel like they're deep with the losses of Keanu Neal and Deion Jones. I feel like it's just going to be too much to overcome with that Saints offense.
Yeah, so Saints look good there.
Awesome. On to the next game. The next little 10 o'clock game, we're going to go to the Green Bay Packers over at the Washington Redskins. I'm going to go ahead and, this to me is an easy one. I'm going to go with the Packers. I'm going to bounce back and actually take a win this week.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Packers as well, too. Washington has been playing some pretty good defense as well, too. They're actually number 1 in points per game, yards per game allowed. But when you're going up against an Aaron Rodgers, they haven't faced an elite yet. So, you know what? I'm going to have to go with the Packers as well, too. So, Green Bay, I feel is going to take that game.
All right, on to the next game. We're going to the Indianapolis Colts over at the Philadelphia Eagles. For this game, Alex, I'm going to go ahead and start us off. I'm going to go with the Eagles to win this game. I was very disappointed. We think we could all say the Eagles played last week. I was very big on them against that Tampa Bay Buccaneer team, but the Eagles just didn't come out to play. But like I mentioned in the part 1 of our segment, Carson Wentz will be back this week. And Carson Wentz will make that difference for that Eagles offense. Unfortunately, Nick Foles wasn't getting the job done as Eagles faithfuls hoped he did. But Carson Wentz will come back healthy, and I feel he's going to come back with a vengeance and beat the Indianapolis Colts this week.
Yeah. I feel the same way. Yeah. So I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles. I like the way that their offensive line was playing. So I feel that they're going to create that pressure for Andrew Luck. It's going to really come down to the play of Carson Wentz. Right? Yeah. Will Carson Wentz be able to get even into 80% of the form that he was last year? Yeah. And if he does, I think the Eagles are going to come with the win. He's going to get some weapons back as well too this week. So I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Nice. Well, look at we're green this week. A little bit easier matchups this week to choose from. Next game we'll go to Buffalo Bills versus the Minnesota Vikings. If you watch our podcast, if you watch our show, we're not big fans of the Bills this year. And when you're going against a team like the Minnesota Vikings, I'm going
to go Vikings.
Minnesota Vikings are probably going to win this game. Enough said about that game. On to the next game. It could be a little bit of toss-up here. I'm going to go with the Oakland Raiders versus the 2-0 Miami Dolphins. Let me put some respect on that Dolphins team. Alex, who you got winning this game, bud?
So we got the Raiders at Miami Dolphins. This is definitely a tough matchup there. You know what? I'm going to give Miami their credit. They're 2-0, and I like their defense.
Okay.
So, you know what? A lot of people forget that they have Quinn there now, so he's definitely wreaking havoc up front. So, you know what? I feel that Derek Carr is going to get the pressure, and he's going to create the pressure as well, too, for Marshawn Lynch. So, you know what? I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. I'm gonna go with that. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you guys want to do our first disagreement of the day? I'm gonna go ahead and choose the Oakland Raiders in this game.
I knew you were gonna do that. So
the Oakland Raiders.
I wanted that.
AFC West. I don't want the Raiders to win, but at the same time, I gotta choose what I think logistically is right here. I thought the Oakland Raiders are gonna come out with this win. Derek Carr had he had a solid week last week. I believe that he led the league in completion percentage last week alone. I feel like he only had 3 incompletions. I feel like Marshawn Lynch surprised me last week. He looks a lot better than he looked last year. He looks like a little bit of that form of what he was in Seattle. And Amari Cooper's getting going. Martavis Bryant is back with the team, so they just added more weapons. Jared Cook, you mentioned in part 2, someone you should start this week. So Jared Cook might have a big game against the Miami Dolphins. Their defense, I'm not really scared of the Miami defense so much as I would be of their defense. Their offense, Ryan Tannehill, he's an up-and-down quarterback. Like I said, their running back core. I started Drake this week, but like I said, I feel like the Oakland Raiders are going to have a bigger week than they had the previous week, so I'm going to go ahead and choose the Raiders this game.
Take the Raiders, all right. So the next game we got is the Broncos at the Ravens. Right, who you got on this one?
This game, I'm going to go ahead and choose the Denver Broncos to start the season 3-0. Do I want them to start 3-0? No, I do not, but I feel like they're going to start 3-0. I'm just really, really impressed with that Case Keenum gameplay, Alex. Case Keenum, a lot of people were shaking, like a lot of people didn't believe in him this offseason. Everyone thought that Minnesota Vikings season was a fluke last year, but Case Keenum's coming off and he's falling into that system really, really well. What they got going down there in Denver, him and Emmanuel Sanders are clicking a little bit. Demaryius Thomas is finally coming back to what he was a couple years ago. Cortland Sutton is looking promising, and they got a good running back core. Even if you don't believe Booker's or Freeman or Brooker, I believe their backups, is getting a lot of reps. Lindsey is really stepping it up, and you can't take away from that. Von Miller and Chubb, defensive core, and even Chris Harris with a little sleeper corner. So I'm going to choose the Broncos this game.
Definitely. For me, you know what? The Ravens right now, they're the number 2 defense. So they're allowing the least amount of yards per game. I have Emmanuel Sanders as a sit as well too. So you know what? Last week.
Okay, the next game that we got here is going to be the Panthers and Bengals. Alex, I'm going to go ahead and choose the Panthers in this game. Like I said, I just really think the Panthers are going to come out with a win last week. They performed well, just they had a tough matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. And I thought the Bengals, even though they're 2-0, I'm not really big on the Bengals as far this year. Joe Mixon might be out this year with this week with an injury, and that's a huge loss for that Bengals offense. I'm going to go ahead and choose the Panthers this game, Alex.
Yeah, I like the way the Panthers are playing as well too, so I'm going to take the Panthers in this game. I feel that they're starting to click. McCaffrey just went off last week, way more involved in the passing. Fuentes, I feel, is going to have a great game, so I'm going to go with the Panthers as well.
Awesome. On to the next game, we got the New York Giants versus the Houston Texans. Both these teams 0-2. Both these teams have yet to click, but I thought this week, the Houston Texans might click, or are going to click. Why? Because I thought Deshaun Watson, he's slowly going into it. You still got to think about Alex. Deshaun Watson is coming off an injury. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt for those 2 week 2 performances. And I feel like week 3 he's going to pick it up a little bit. I feel like him and DeAndre Hopkins are finally going to get a little bit clicking. You saw the Will Fuller connection that he had this past Sunday. So I think the Houston Texans are going to have a big game, especially with that defense. I think Tyrann Mathieu is going to have a big game as well. And I feel like the defensive line of J.J. Watt, Marcellus Wiley, and Jadeveon Clowney are going to keep Saquon Barkley under 50 yards rushing.
So I'm going to go opposite of you. So we're talking about clicking. Who's going to click a lot easier than a veteran quarterback in Eli Manning. So I feel that he's going to come back this week, look at the game scripts, and he's going to really execute. So they finally have the weapons around him. He's going to utilize them this week. So I feel that the New York Giants are going to beat the Texans for their first win, and the Texans, unfortunately, I'm really high on them, but they're starting the season 0-3.
All right, Houston Texans. All right. On to the next game, a very easy game. I think we could both agree on. Everyone watching at home can agree on. It's going to be that Tennessee Titans versus the Jacksonville Jaguar game. Obviously, we're both going to choose the Jaguars, but like I said, Alex, the Jaguars, they proved it last week. They kept my word strong that they were going to go into that week against New England and go walk out victorious, and that's what they did. They're very impressive. Blake Bortles was definitely someone I considered picking up on the waiver wires that we mentioned in part 2 of our segment. And I'm big on the Jacksonville Jaguars this year. I feel like they can, go back to the AFC Championship and win the Super Bowl. But for now, as in week 3, I'm going to go ahead and choose the Jacksonville Jaguar to win this game against the Tennessee Titans.
I'm going to go same, Jacksonville.
Awesome. On to the next game right here with the San Francisco 49ers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Alex, who you got winning this game?
Got the Chiefs.
Chiefs win this game?
Yeah, so I just like the way that Mahomes has been playing. I think this is going to outperform Jimmy G. So Jimmy G's finally going to get a little something going. But I think that the Chiefs are going to take this one, even with their poor defense.
Yeah, I have to agree. I feel like Patrick Mahomes is going to be very difficult to stop. He's just on a roll right now, and I feel like the Kansas City Chiefs are going to just continue to click on this Sunday as well. Another, consider it kind of a game of the week. The Los Angeles Chargers versus the Los Angeles Rams. Battle of Los Angeles. Alex, who do you got winning this game?
In the team or the Battle of LA, I got the Rams. I mean, I just like their team overall better. To me, their defense, although the Chargers are solid, I think that they got more weapons on the Rams side. And then as far as offense, I really love the receiving core that they have in Los Angeles in the Rams. I mean, you got Keenan Allen on the opposite side. You got Williams, who's emerging. But I like the way that they run, especially with Brandon Cooks. He's spreading the field out. It's just they got quick receivers. I'm gonna give it to the Rams this week.
Yeah, of course. I'm a Chargers fan. As you guys can see, I'm wearing my Chargers jersey. I wore my bucket hat last weekend.